Hey guys, welcome to the first episode of Flavor and Fiction. In case you missed the series announcement, I'll tell you what it's going to be about. So I have a book challenge where I have to read 26 books in different categories, and I decided to amp things up by also creating a meal or, a dish that corresponds to the book that I'm reading while I'm kind of giving you a review. So the first book that I've read for this year's challenge is The House of Mirth by Edith Wharton. It was written in 1905, and it's about this young socialite who's 29 years old. She was orphaned and she's being raised by her aunt, and she's at that age where everyone's like, why aren't you married yet? I can relate. So she's getting a little nervous about her future. So as I continue, I'm gonna go get started on the recipe. So even though eating was mentioned a lot in this book, not a lot of actual food was mentioned. But what was mentioned over and over again was tea. So I decided to find a recipe that calls for tea. So today we are going to make, what's it called? It's a fruit dip. It's sweet tea fruit dip. So let's give it a whirl. And if I had my tripod, it'd be a lot easier to do this, so bear with me as I struggle to show you what I'm doing here. So the first thing the recipe calls for is 1 cup of heavy whipping cream. Okay. Then it calls for a 1/4 cup of instant tea mix. Okay, then you're supposed to beat that mixture with a handy dandy electric mixer. But before I do that, I'll tell you a little bit more about Lily. Her parents did not have a lot of money, but her aunt does. So when her parents died, her mother had ingrained in her, marry rich, don't be like me, don't struggle. So Lily, with her aunt who has a little bit more money, feels like, okay, since she has more money, I'm worth a little bit more, so I should be able to land a rich husband. Even though she hates the societal pressures, she's like terrified of being poor because of what she saw her parents go through. So yeah, she's trying to plot her best future. She's 29 and she's getting scared of being alone and poor. So before I tell you what happens to Lily, I'm going to go ahead and beat this mixture and then we'll see what the next step is. So back to Lily. Okay. So her friends and family keep trying to set her up with these rich guys, and she keeps turning them off on purpose because she just can't stand any of them. But then she finally meets a guy that she really likes. They're friends. She starts to have feelings for him, but the problem is he's not exactly well off. He's not poor or anything. They're in the same circle of friends, but he doesn't meet the level of financial requirement that, is going to give her an easy life, she thinks. So she decides to cast him to the side. And the problem is she keeps casting off the rich guys because she doesn't like them. Then she casts off the guy she does like because he's not rich enough, and she can't figure out which direction her life should take. So let's see what happens to her. Okay, so I'm done whipping the tea and heavy whipping cream mix. And now it's time to set this aside and start on the second part. So first we'll add in some cream cheese. Okay, then it calls for a teaspoon of lemon juice. I'm actually going to be fancy and squeeze in just a little fresh lemon juice, just 'cause I think that's enough. And let's see what's next. So I'm about to mix that up with the mixer, and while pouring in some powdered sugar, but I need 2 hands, so I'm gonna have to put this down. Wish I hadn't left my stand in North Carolina, my tripod, but it'll get better. Here we go. Okay, now we're gonna combine the two, gently fold this one into this one, and we'll see what happens. But first, back to our friend Lily. So Lily decides that she wants to play out here in these streets as long as she can without making a decision because she doesn't think anything's going to make her happy. So she starts flirting with different men, and because of a gambling issue, she needs to start borrowing money. So she starts borrowing money from men, which is not a good look, especially in 1905, especially married men especially your friends' husbands without them knowing. Yikes. So she borrows all this money and people assume things of her. She loses the only thing she really owns outright, which is her reputation. And once she figures out, you know what, I don't want to live like this anymore, she decides, fine, I'll just marry for money because that's what's going to make me the most comfortable in this life. But now, no man with money wants her because she has a reputation. They know she borrows money from other people and they've assumed all these things from her that aren't true, but she's made it look like that. So then she decides, you know what, fine. They don't want me. I'm going to go back to Mr. Selden, the guy I love who doesn't have a lot of money. So she goes back to him, but he looks at her differently now too because of what he assumes of her. And he knows that if he marries her, his reputation will be ruined, which is the only thing he has. So he gently turns her away too. So I don't know. I guess the moral of the story was kind of like figure out what you want in your life and stop playing around. I mean, I thought it was going to end up being a you should have married for love instead of money story, but it really wasn't. It was a make a decision kind of story. So I was really impressed by it and I really liked it. But now I'm really interested to see what this sweet tea dip is going to look like. My sister's on her way because I want someone to taste it so you know I'm not lying. I don't know if it's going to be good or bad. I make no claims, but we'll see. Okay, so this looks like a hot mess so far, but but I'm going to try to make it presentable before my sister gets here because let's see what I can do. So the recipe suggests to try it with peaches, but it's January. It's not peach season. It's not really anything season, but we're going to try strawberries instead. So once Michelle gets here, we're going to taste it. Okay. So Michelle and Chris are here. I already told them who was coming.
Okay.
So Michelle and Chris are here. I got them some strawberries to try it with. So let's go get it.
Oh boy.
And they're going to give me their honest opinion.
Yep. Okay.
It's sweet tea fruit dip.
It looks...
Presentation?
It looks like something from Ghostbusters 2. It looks like the slime.
It's,
But you know, what's that stuff? There's something
firm.
that looks like this. That's like a chocolate and it's
Mousse?
like a light...
I don't know.
Yeah,
It does
maybe
look like mousse a little.
like a chocolate mousse. So we'll go with that
all
instead
right.
of Ghostbusters.
I'm gonna pick this one right here.
I like this one.
Well, too bad.
Who's going to go first?
You can go together.
Cheers. Okay, or not.
Really? Ready?
Wait, smell it.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
One.
Oh, God. Don't put it up your nose.
1, 2, 3.
It's good. That's good.
Tell the truth. Don't be afraid.
I feel like I can taste the tea. Like, I don't know if I would have placed it without you mentioning it.
Let me see.
Yeah.
I can taste the tea, though.
It tastes familiar, though. It tastes.
Like Lipton?
Uh-huh.
Mm-mm.
I like it.
I like it.
It's too sweet. Too much tea or something? Like.
You think so?
I feel like the aftertaste is better than the taste. But it's good.
It does have a good aftertaste.
Mm-hmm. Like the aftertaste is like iced tea, like sweet tea.
Mm-hmm.
Did I put too much lemon
If you
or something?
hadn't told me what was in here, I feel like I would have guessed that some chocolate is there any chocolate in here?
Mm-mm.
I feel like I would have guessed that there. I'm just double dipping too. Sorry, but
Because it's creamy.
I would have guessed that there was some chocolate. Like I like the flavor.
It does taste like Lipton tea with lemon. It has lemon.
I put some fresh lemon juice in it.
I only noticed that because you said it. Now I'm like, wow, it really does. But I don't think I would have guessed it.
It's pretty good though. It's all right.
Yeah,
Okay.
I like it.
All right. First experiment is a success, I guess. So there you have it, folks. My first assignment completed. I'll put a link to the recipe and a link to the book on Amazon in the description below. Thanks for tuning in to my first episode of Flavor and Fiction. Don't forget to subscribe for more.